And today we're going to discuss an essential part of grammar, which is subject and verb agreement. In English, subject and verb have to agree, which means if your verb is plural, your subject has to be plural. If your verb is in singular form, means one, then your subject has to be in singular form. To agree means to have the same opinion, but in grammar, the agreement means to be the same. First sentence: by day, Evans are a kindly and new semi-retired minister. That's our first incorrect sentence. So now to find out, to check if the subject and verb in the sentence agree, first of course you have to find subject and verb. And if you don't know how to do it, you can watch the first episode of Cat Grammar, where I explain that quite clearly, I hope. So in this sentence, the verb is are and the subject is Evans. And some people, some students may think that Evans is plural, but it's a very tricky sentence. Evans is a name of a person. So even though this noun Evans ends with S, it's a singular noun. It's a name. So Evans is a singular subject or plural verb. That's incorrect. Plural verb must take plural subject, singular verbs take singular subjects. To make the sentence correct, we would have to say, by day, Evans is a kindly and semi-retired minister. The second sentence: the term supernova were coined in the 1930s. Again, have a look for your verb. Where, the verb is where, and the subject, the term supernova. Now check singular and plural. Here your verb is plural, where, your subject, the term supernova, is singular. That's incorrect. To make the sentence correct, we would have to say the term supernova was coined in the 1930s. If you're unsure whether your verb is singular and plural, just to remind you quickly, is and was singular, are, were plural. But with other verbs, like action verbs like play, dance, sing, write, you have to remember that in the third person singular, that is he, she and it form, always take S. So we say he plays, she plays, it writes, and so on. So remember, a verb in singular form can take an S when the subject is he, she or it, namely when the subject is third person singular. Also we say has is a singular verb, and in plural form verbs never take S. So we play, they dance, you cook. Okay, before we discuss a few more example sentences on subject and verb agreement, have a look at the sentences and think for a second and try to correct them. And now the answers. Some of the animals from the zoo was released into the animal preserve. The verb was, the subject, some of the animals. Verb was is singular, some of the animals plural. That's why the sentence is incorrect. The correct sentence would be some of the animals from the zoo were released into the animal preserve. Next sentence. What in the world is the children trying to do? The verb is the subject. The children is a singular verb. Children plural. The correct answer would be what in the world are the children trying to do? Be careful when you have a question where the subject is. In a question form, the subject will be usually after your verb. This chapter has many more exercises than do the next one. Here we have two verbs. Has, singular verb, subject, this chapter, singular subject. This part of the sentence is fine. This chapter has. Do, verb, plural verb. The next one, singular subject. Do the next one. That's incorrect. Should be does the next one. But it is also possible, it's also correct not to invert. We could say this chapter has many more exercises than the next one does. Both ways are correct. Here you can notice that in sentences with comparison, when we compare one clause with another, many more exercises then. We invert, we change the place of subject and verb. It is impossible to believe that somebody actually admire that man. Is, verb, subject, it. They are both singular, in singular form, so it's fine. It's singular is singular form. Now, admire is our verb, somebody is our subject. Remember, in English, somebody, something, anybody, anything, everybody, every verbs in singular forms. That's why somebody actually admires. Verb admire has to be in singular form, admires. The correct version is it is impossible to believe that somebody actually admires that man. In the last sentence, every man, woman and child in this line are required to sign the forms in order to complete the registration. The verb are required. It's a verb in the plural form. When you have expression like every man, each woman, always use verb in singular form with those subjects that have these expressions. So we should say every man, woman and child in the line is required to sign the forms in order to complete the registration. So that's it on subject and verb agreement, and I'll see you next week.